216. Nikāya. It is not the fire, etc. This story the master told during a stay in Jataka monastery, about one who yearned after a former wife. The master asked this brother, "Is it true, brother, what I hear, that you are lovesick?" "Yes, sir." "For whom?" "For my late wife." Then the master said to him, "This wife, brother, has been the mischief to you. Long ago by her means you came near being spitted and roasted for food, but wise men saved your life." Then he told a tale of the past. Once upon a time, when Brahmadatta was king of Benares, the Bodhisattva was his priest. Some fishermen brought out a fish which had got caught in their net, and throw it upon hot sand, saying, "We will cook it in the embers, and eat." So they sharpened a skewer. And the fish fell and weeping over his mate, and said these two verses. "It is not the fire that burns me, nor the skewer that hurts me to pain. But the thought my mate may call me a faithless paramour. It is the flame of love that burns me, and fills my heart with pain. Not death is the due of loving. O fishers, free me again." At that moment the Bodhisattva approached the river bank. And hearing the fishes cry, he went up to the fishermen and made them set the fish at liberty. This discourse ended, the master explained the truths and identified the birth. At the conclusion of the truths the lovesick brother reached the fruit of the first path. The wife was in those days the fish's mate, the lovesick brother was the fish, and I myself was the priest. Jataka number 217. Seggu-Jātaka. All the world's on pleasure bent, etc. This story the master told, while living at Jataka monastery, about a greengrocer who was a lay brother. The circumstances have been already given in the first book. Here again the master asked him where he had been so long. And he replied, "My daughter, sir, is always smiling. After testing her, I gave her in marriage to a young gentleman. As this had to be done, I had no opportunity of paying you a visit." To this the master answered, "Not now only is your daughter virtuous, but virtuous she was in days of past. And as you have tested her now, so you tested her in those days." And at the man's request he told an old world tale. Once upon a time, when Brahmadatta was king of Benares, the Bodhisattva was a tree spirit. This same pious greengrocer took it into his head to test his daughter. He led her into the woods, and seized her by the hand, making as though he had conceived a passion for her. And as she cried out in suffering, he addressed her in the words of the first stanza. "All the world's on pleasure bent. Ah, my baby innocent. Now I've caught you, I request, don't cry. As the town does, so do I." When she heard it, she answered, "Dear father, I ant a maid, and I know not the ways of sin." And weeping she uttered the second stanza. "He that should keep me safe from all distress, the same betrays me in my loneliness. My father, who should be my sure defense, here in the forest offers violence." And the greengrocer, after testing his daughter thus, took her home, and gave her in marriage to a young man. Afterwards he passed away according to his deeds. When the master had ended this discourse, he explained the truths and identified the birth. At the end of the truths the greengrocer entered on the fruit of the first path. In those days, father and daughter were the snore as now, and the tree spirit that saw it all was I myself. Jataka number 218. Kūṭa-Vāṇija-Jātaka. Well planned indeed. Etc. This story the master told while staying in Jataka monastery, about a dishonest trader. There were two traders of Shrivasthi city, one pious and the other a cheat. These two joined partnership, and loaded 500 wagons full of wares, journeying from east to west for trade. And returned to Shrivasthi city with large profits. The pious trader suggested to his partner that they should divide their stock. The rogue thought to himself, "This fellow has been roughing it for ever so long with bad food and lodging. Now he's at home again, he'll eat all sorts of choice foods and die of overeating. Then I shall have all the stock for myself." What he said was, "Neither the stars nor the day are favorable. Tomorrow or the next day we'll see about it." So he kept putting it often. However, the pious trader pressed him, and the division was made. Then he went with scents and garlands to visit the master. And after a respectful act of homage, he sat on one side. The master asked when he had returned. "Just a fortnight ago, sir," said he. "Then why have you delayed to visit the Buddha?" The trader explained. Then the master said, "It is not only now that your partner is a rogue. He was just the same before." And at his request told him an old world tale. Once upon a time, while Brahmadatta was king of Benares, the Bodhisattva came into this world as the son of one in the king's court. When he grew up he was made a Lord Justice. At that time, two traders, one from a village and one of the town, were friends together. The villager deposited with the townsman 500 plowshares. The other sold these, and kept the price, and in the place where they were he scattered mouse clung. In due course of time came the villager, and asked for his plowshare. "The mice have eaten them up," said the cheat, and pointed out the mouse clung to him. "Well, well, so be it," replied the other. "What can be done with things which the mice have eaten?" Now at the time of bathing he took the other trader's son, and set him in a friend's house, in an inner chamber, asking them not allow him to go out anywhere. And having washed himself he went to his friend's house. "Where is my son?" asked the cheat. "Dear friend," he replied, "I took him with me and left him on the river side. And when I was gone down into the water, there came a hawk, and seized your son in his extended claws, and flew up into the air. I beat the water, shouted, struggled but could not make him let go." "Lies!" cried the rogue. "No hawk could carry off a boy, let be, dear friend. If things happen that should not, how can I help it? Your son has been carried off by a hawk, as I say." The other abused him. "Ah, you scoundrel! You murderer! Now I will go to the judge, and have you dragged before him." And he departed. The villager said, "As you please," and went to the court of justice. The rogue addressed the Bodhisattva thus: "My lord, this fellow took my son with him to bathe, and when I asked where he was, he answered, that a hawk had carried him off. Judge my cause." "Tell the truth," said the Bodhisattva, asking the other. "Indeed, my lord," he answered, "I took him with me, and a falcon has carried him off." "But where in the world are there hawks which carry off boys?" "My lord," he answered, "I have a question to ask you. If hawks cannot carry off boys into the air, can mice eat iron plowshares?" "What do you mean by that?" "My lord, I deposited in this man's house 500 plowshares. The man told me that the mice had devoured them, and showed me the droppings of the mice that had done it." "My lord, if mice eat plowshares, then hawks carry off boys. But if mice cannot do this, neither will hawks carry the boy off. This man says the mice ate my plowshares. Give sentence whether they are eaten or judge my cause." He must have meant, thought the Bodhisattva, to fight the trickster with his own weapons. "Well devised," said he, and then he uttered these two verses. "Well planned indeed. The biter bit, the trickster tricked a pretty hit. If mice eat plowshares, hawks can fly with boys away into the sky. A rogue outrogued with tit for tat. Give back the plow, and after that perhaps the man who lost the plow may give your son back to you now." Thus he that had lost his son received him again, and he received his plowshare that had lost it. And afterwards both passed away to fare according to their deeds. When this discourse was ended, the master identified the birth. The cheat in both cases was the same, and so was the clever man. I myself was the Lord Chief Justice. Jataka number 219. Jataka. The gold is mine, etc. This story the master told at Kūṭa-Vāṇija monastery, about a brother who was downcast and discontent. This man could not concentrate his mind on any single object, but his life was all full of discontent. And this was told to the master. When asked by the master if he really were discontented, he said yes. Asked why, he replied, "O brother," said the master, "this passion has been despised even by the lower animals. And can you, a monk of such a teaching, yield to discontent arising from the passion that even brutes despise?" Then he told him an old world tale. Once upon a time, when Brahmadatta reigned over Benares, the Bodhisattva came into the world as a monkey, in the region of Himalaya. A forest dweller caught him, brought him home and gave him to the king. For a long time he lived with the king, serving him faithfully, and he learned a great deal about the manners of the world of men. The king was pleased at his faithfulness. He sent for the forest dweller, and asked him to set the monkey free in the very place where he had been caught. And so he did. All the monkey tribe gathered together upon the face of a huge rock, to see the Bodhisattva now that he had come back to them. And they spoke pleasantly to him. "Sir, where have you been living this long time?" "In the king's palace at Benares." "Then how did you get free?" "The king made me his pet monkey, and being pleased with my tricks, he let me go." The monkeys went on. "You must know the manner of living in the world of men. Tell us about it too, we want to hear." "Don't ask me the manner of men's living," said the Bodhisattva. "Do tell, we want to hear." They said again. "Mankind," said he, "both princes and brahmans, cry out mine, mine. They know not of the impermanence, by which the things that be are not. Hear now the way of these blind fools." And he spoke these verses. "The gold is mine, the precious gold. So cry they, night and day. These foolish folk cast never a look upon the holy way. There are two masters in the house. One has no beard to wear, but has long breasts, ears pierced with holes, and goes with plaited hair. His price is told in countless gold. He plagues all people there." On hearing this, all the monkeys cried out, "Stop, stop! We have heard what it is not suitable to hear." And with both hands they stopped their ears tight. And they liked not the place, because they said, "In this place we heard a thing not seemly." So they went elsewhere. And this rock went by the name of Garahitapathy rock, or the rock of blaming. When the master had ended this discourse, he explained the truths and identified the birth. At the conclusion of the truths, this brother reached the fruit of the first path. The Buddha's present followers were that troop of monkeys, and their chief was I myself.